What's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make 3 simple modern starter houses. I know that modern house and starter house don't typically get used together in the same sentence because of course a lot of modern houses use difficult to gather materials, especially in the early game. And these 3 houses are no different. Each one of these houses uses colored clay, quartz, and some variety of colored glass as well. So bear this in mind before you set your heart on one of these because it does use difficult to gather materials, but it doesn't use a lot of them. So if you have just broken into the Nether or you have just found the Mesa biome, then these houses could be suitable for you. But if you've only just started, then you're probably going to want to put these on hold or use substitute materials if you do still like the design. But without any further ado, let me show you these 3 houses. So the way this will work is I will show you each one of these 3 houses individually at the start of this video, and I will link on the screen as I show you these houses and in the description below and in the comments the timestamp that you will need to go to find the tutorial for each particular house. So this is house number 1. You'll see a timestamp on the screen, in the description below and in the comments for where you would have to skip to in the video to find the tutorial for this particular house. So this is house number 1. This is a cliff house, this is a cave house, this is a mountain house. This can be applied in loads of different terrains and loads of different biomes. It's a lovely red design, it sticks out a lot, it's a very simple design. It's probably one of the more simple houses that I have for you right here. It has a glass roof which lets in a lot of light, and it can be built in loads of places at a variety of altitudes. The way that you access the house as we are on the ground here is we simply just have a small step up. But if you build this on a mountain, you will obviously need to also create a track, a path that will allow you access to the inside of the house. But inside the house, all we have in here, loads and loads of chests, everything that we need. We have crafting tables, furnaces, and the cool thing about this is if you do build it on a mountain that is kind of a big mountain, you can tunnel into the mountain, which is kind of displayed here, and you can keep all of your valuables, and you can make a huge interior for the house hidden away in the mountain with this relatively small exterior. Very cool house. This is kind of like a nice modern cave cliff house. I hope that you guys enjoy. That is house number 1. Now, moving on to house number 2, we do have something that is a little bit more traditional here. What you see is what you get with house number 2. We don't have anything hidden. We have an awesome, interesting design. I really do like the design here. It does look kind of interesting and funky. It's definitely alluring. And if we come inside here, you can see that we actually have a decent amount of space. Once again, we have the bed, we have the chests, we have crafting table, furnace, we even have a little enchantment library. And with this particular house, we can even crack onto the 2nd floor, and this can be used as even more storage space. And we even have a little balcony outside here as well. The reason that I didn't fill the 2nd floor up is because I really don't like the view of like all sorts of like crafting tables and stuff like straight through glass panes, if that makes any sense. I don't like seeing them from the outside of the house if I can help it. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is house number 2. A little bit more traditional in terms of modern houses. And moving swiftly on to house number 3, this is also a little bit of an interesting one because what you see is not what you get. This is simply the upper part of the house. We have a very clean, great looking bunker. So this is a modern bunker. It's nice, it's colourful, it actually kind of camouflages well into the green if you took away the quartz and everything that didn't stick out. Well, the idea is that you walk into the interior of the house. This is the upper part of the house. Very nice. You can even stick some chests and stuff that you would need about the place. But the idea is that you can kind of come in and climb down, and here is where all of your valuables are. Built into the walls, built underground, we have the chest, the crafting table, the bed, everything that we could possibly need down here is here. And of course, you can also expand with this house, as you can with any other sort of cave house or any sort of other underground house. It is as big as you make it, and it is up to you with what you do with the place. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is each one of the 3 modern houses. I hope that you like at the very least one of them. I'm going to actually show you how to make each one individually now in in order 1 to 3. This is the very first tutorial. This will show you how to make house number 1, the cliff/cave house. If you want to make it, here's what you'll need. Grab yourself some red hardened clay, some quartz slabs, some quartz stairs, some black stained glass block, and some sea lanterns. If you want to swap out the materials for any other materials, whether that be color or just a completely different variety of material, that is up to you. These are the ones that I'll be using then. Once you have these, and once you've figured out where you want to make it, I'm going to be making mine on the side of this cliff. You can make it at the base, middle, or the top, or somewhere in between. However, I'm going to be making mine at the top. Once you've figured out that position for yourself, you want to begin by placing a red hardened clay in front of the cliff. Just place a clay. From the clay, do 2 outward diagonals to the right coming towards you. That'll look like 1 and 2. Take that second diagonal and go to the right by 2. 1, 2. Then do 2 inward diagonals to the right, like this. 1, 2. Take the second one and go backwards from it by 2. 1, 2, coming towards where the back of the house will be. Then do 2 inward diagonals going to the left, towards the mountain. That's 1, and then 2. Connect to the mountain, going left by 1. You might find that you have to do more blocks, but the idea is that you want this circular shape. On top of your red hardened clay, place a layer of glass, like this. Then add a layer of red hardened clay on top of the glass, like this. Fill in the top of the house using your glass. It'll look very nice if you use a darker variety of glass, or at least that's what I've found. We now have to grab an additional material. We didn't grab this at the start because this depends where you build your house. We have to add a floor to the house. To do this, we're going to need whatever the mountain is made out of. This one is made out of stone, so therefore, underneath the house, filling in the empty shape of the house, like this, filling in the empty shape, we want to create a shape that just fills in the bottom of the house using whatever the material around you is. So for instance, we built this on a stone mountain, we want to use stone. Now I'm going to add another layer of stone underneath this and around this, and I'm going to shape it and I'm going to meld it into something that looks a little bit less man-made. I want this to look a little bit more natural, or at least that's what I'm going for. I don't want to spend an incredible amount of time on this, but we're looking for something that looks a little bit more natural. Probably, yeah, that actually does the trick. It could be a little bit better, but hey, that's what we're dealing with. Now, I'm going to add a trim to the house. I'm going to add a layer of quartz slab in front of the upper half of the bottom red hardened clay. And I'll also add a quartz slab trim to the lower half of the upper red hardened clay at the top of the build. So, we want to have something which should look like this. Perfect. Now we have an issue. How do we actually get up to the top of the house? So this is built on a hill. We have a couple of options. The first way that we can get to our house is we can make a staircase. So if we come all the way down to the ground, we can access most of this cliff if we just edit it a little bit, just using stairs and stuff like that. So it does need a little bit of editing. You will have to add some stairs and stuff for yourself, but with a little bit of parkour and stuff like that, we can make it all the way up to the top of the cliff. So we can so far make it down from the bottom all the way up to the top about here. We can even make it to this stone bit once again with a little bit of jumping around and stuff. However, we do have to be able to get to the mountain house. So if we add a staircase in right about here, and if we add a little bit more stone, and if we add a 2-block gap to actually get in the house, we can now reverse engineer in deleting a few blocks and stuff. We can reverse engineer a staircase to take us all the way up here. So we have to be able to get up to this point here, which we can do if we just delete this block and this block. Then we can actually climb from the base of this mountain. As you can see, we can climb from the base of this mountain all the way up to the house, which is a fine method of getting inside the house, but an easier method would be this, other than all of that climbing. If we dig from the house into this little mountain a little bit, so if we create a nice little room in this mountain, we can dig downwards. So we can dig downwards, and I know that you can't see, or at least I can't see. I hope that you guys can't see, because otherwise that means my eyesight's terrible. We can dig downwards, and then we can kind of like dig outwards like this, out of the mountain. And we could create, now imagine that this is a little bit closer to the ground, we could create a little cave with a ladder inside of it that would take us all the way up to the actual mountain house itself. So if we just form a ladder here, then we have two ways of actually getting inside the house. Then it's just a matter of placing all of the things that you love in life in Minecraft. So if you want to add a bed in here, if you want to add a crafting table, a furnace, if you want to add a couple of chests here and about the place, then that is completely up to you. Decorate the inside however you like, make it bigger, make it smaller, change the way that you actually get into the house. That's completely up to you. But ladies and gentlemen, that is the very first house. Customize it how you like. I hope that you enjoyed that. Why don't I show you how to make the second house now? This is the second tutorial showing you how to make modern house number 2. This is the much more traditional house that's still very interesting. If you want to make it, here's what you'll need. Grab yourself some pillar quartz blocks, some quartz stairs, some quartz slabs, some yellow hardened clay, black stained glass paint, and you might even want to use some black stained glass block as well. So once you have each one of these, and once you've figured out where you want to make it, you don't need a very big area whatsoever. Well, you want to begin the build by placing a row of 4 yellow hardened clay going to the left of where you're building. So say like 1, 2, 3, 4. Go behind that 4th block by 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is where the back of the house will be. Go right of that 6th block by 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then come forward from that 7th block by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Go left by 2. 1, 2. Go in front of that block by 2. 1, 2. Go up on top of that block by 2. 1, 2. Go left by 2. 1, 2. Connect downwards. And then from the same block that you connected down, you actually want to do a layer of yellow hardened clay that sits above the layer of yellow hardened clay placed on the floor. However, there is a 1 block difference in between the 2 layers of yellow hardened clay. So what you're looking for is a shape which looks very similar to this one. Now, from the same yellow hardened clay block that you just went left from and formed the shape of the house from, you want to go up on top of the same yellow hardened clay block by 3 with your clay. 1, 2, and 3. Go left of that 3rd block by 3. 1, 2, 3. Go back by 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then come across the back of the house by 3. 1, 2, 3. Connect downwards. You can even connect the 2 3rd blocks that line up together front to back, like this. So you can see that we are now forming a very clear frame. What we're now going to do is we are going to fill the 2nd level of the house in using quartz slabs, or you can alternatively use glass if you want a bit of a different effect, like that. Now, I'm going to place a layer of black stained glass paint going around the right hand side of the 2nd floor of the house. This is going to create a balcony. I also want to fill in the left hand side of the 2nd story of the house using black stained glass paint. If you don't want to use paint, I would recommend using glass block. However, I do think that it looks a little bit worse. Use your black stained glass block to fill in the roof of the build, like so. Use your black stained glass paint to fill in the lower floor of the house now. So the very first bit that we built and never did anything with, we want to fill this in with black stained glass paint, like this. Now, we want to take the four corners of the entrance, which is this block, this block, this block, and this block, and we want to place pillar quartz block coming out of the four corners of the entrance, which I have just done. We then want to connect them together at the top using quartz slab, so connect the two pair at the top together using quartz slab, the upper half of the blocks, and extend that layer of quartz slab going around the entire second story of the house. So in the same line that you connected them together using the pillar quartz block, you want to use quartz slab to go around the house. You also want to create a base going around the house using, once again, your quartz slab. So go around the base of your house using your quartz slab to form a nice shape like this. It should be quite parallel to what you've just made. Also, take the top of the house where we have this singular room and place a layer of quartz slab going around the top of the house also. So it just wants to go all the way around the top of the second story of the house like this. And this is the shell of the house. If you want to make it a little bit more lively, then you will of course destroy the floor and you will add your very own quartz floor in. I'm using block of quartz for this just because it is a little bit easier than using quartz slab. You guys know how quartz slab behaves. Sometimes it places where you want it, sometimes, most of the time, pretty much most of the time, it doesn't. So I'm just going to be placing it like this, just filling this in. Perfect. So now we have two stories of quartz. To get up to the second floor, you have multiple options. However, I kind of like the quartz. I kind of like the idea of having like a row of quartz block, kind of like in the middle of the house, coming from one story to the other. I kind of like that, which we will need a ladder to navigate each step of the house like this. To furnish the inside of the house, of course, you just grab some of your favorite items, whether that's chests that it depends what you want to use the house for, but whether you want to kind of like populate this place with chests and crafting materials, or whether you simply just want it to be kind of like a show house. It's completely up to you, but this is kind of like more of a survival build. And coming upstairs, and this is a little bit of a problem, but we could still have like anvils up here, we could still have chests up here, we can even have we could even have another crafting table up here. We do have plenty of storage space if we want it, and if we like, we can also decorate the area using my favorite thing, which is always flower pots. I love flower pots, especially with the poppies. You can just make the house a little bit more your own. It looks lovely like that. And if you need any sort of light source, never hesitate to stick a sea lantern in the floor and it will go a long way like that. So there you have the second house. Customize it a little bit more if you like, but that, ladies and gentlemen, is quartz house number 2. This is the tutorial for the third and final modern house. This is modern house number 3, the underground bunker. If you want to make it, here's what you'll need. Grab yourself some pillar quartz blocks, some quartz slabs, some lime hardened clay, some black stained glass block, some black stained glass paint, sea lanterns, and some ladders. Of course, once again, change the materials if you like. This is just what I'm using. Well, once you have that, this is what we're going to do next. So, take out your lime hardened clay and place a row of 2 lime hardened clay coming up from the ground, wherever you like. That's 1 and 2, like that. Next to your 2 lime hardened clay, place a layer of black stained glass block. Leave a gap of 1 going right and place another layer of 2 glass block. Do a layer of lime hardened clay to the right of the glass, like so. Take the back of the bottom lime hardened clay blocks that you've just placed and extend them each backwards by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and connect them together at the back. Then raise up the back 2 corners that you just connected together by 1, so this block and this block. Place black stained glass pane in between the 4 corners of the house, like this. We now want to place rows of pillar quartz block coming out diagonally from each one of the 4 corners of the house. So the first 2 corners, for instance, we want to place 2 pillar quartz block coming outwards like this, and coming out of the back as well. like this. And once you've done that, we now want to place a quartz slab on top of the pillar quartz block, every single one of them, and we want to connect these slabs together. So forming a big square shape, we want to connect each one of the slabs together. You can then fill in the tippity top of the house using your quartz slabs, like this. Perfect. Also, place quartz slabs around the base of the house, leaving enough room that you can actually enter the house. So go all the way around the base of the house, placing a layer of quartz slabs, making sure that you have enough room to actually enter the house. And also, I would suggest this, making the floor of the house out of quartz block or quartz slab, whichever you find easiest to work with. In one of these rare cases, it might be best to use quartz block, but it is completely up to you. So, like this. Now, we have to tunnel downwards, but not before we add a light source. Take the very bottom center block of the house, which is this one, this is the center block, and place a sea lantern there. Behind the sea lantern is where we will be digging down. So behind the sea lantern, right at the very base, back center of the house, we want to dig downwards until we have enough room that we can actually move around underneath the base of the house. So we want to dig 2 blocks down from the sea lantern, and then we want to dig in front of ourselves a little bit. So maybe like, I don't know, 1 row, 2 row, maybe like 3 rows in front of ourselves. And maybe to the side of us a little bit as well. We'll knock out 1 row to the left, 1 row to the right, and we'll see if that's enough. Is that enough? Yeah, that's not too bad. That's a pretty decent sized space, if I do say so. And then we can kind of make it a little bit more colorful under here, if you like. If you like, you can add some like green. You can add some like green lime clay, if you like, underneath here. If you like, want to fill in the walls using some green lime clay, and maybe even like a layer of like quartz or what have you. You can kind of get this place looking nice down here if you so choose. So that is all of this tunneled out, and whatever you want to do down here is kind of up to you. I mean, obviously we need to have a ladder which takes us all the way back up to the surface. It's probably a good idea if we had a bed, some chests and stuff down here, so maybe like a bed at the back, maybe like a chest either side of it. We could even dig into the walls a little bit. Here's something cool that I kind of like. I like to dig into walls like this, and then place stuff that you'd need. So maybe like a crafting table with like chests either side of it, and then on the other side maybe like a furnace with like chests either side of it like this. And then I kind of like to take the upper, like the space above this, and I like to place like quartz slabs here, like where the empty space is. So it's kind of like you don't have as much empty space as you think you might. And then maybe like we can even add a border going around the bed also. I mean, it's kind of like a cool little space down here. You can customize it how you like. You can change the walls if you wanted to, like we kind of did already a little bit. But if you then wanted to make like the walls block of quartz, or if you wanted to change them in another way, if you wanted to add some lights into the wall and stuff, maybe like if you wanted to add, say, like another sea lantern in the wall here and in the wall here, then that's kind of up to you. You can kind of customize this as much as you like. But yeah, this is house number 3. If we go up here, in destroying, by the way, some of the dirt, we actually made like a cool little entrance here as well. Like we added a little bit of a lime tinge to the entrance, which I actually quite like. So that is house number 3, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, customize it however you like, custard it however you like is what I was about to say, and I hope that you're happy with it. And that concludes each one of the 3 tutorials. Actually, that's all of the houses, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is how to make each one of these 3 modern starter houses. I hope that you enjoyed at the very least one of these houses. If you have made one of these, or if you just enjoyed them, please do give this video a like. I'd really appreciate it. If you like the video, please consider subscribing to the channel. If you subscribe, say hello down there in the comment section. I'll try my best to say hello back, and click the little bell next to the subscription button to ensure that you get all of my content sent directly to your sub box. I subscribe to a lot of people. I know that I do not get everybody's videos unless I click that little subscription bell. It's really important. And if you want to check out any more of my stuff, guys, and you might have seen a lot of it just like around my worlds and stuff, please do check out the card system in the description below. That's where you'll find all sorts of playlists to show you all sorts of things. I'm not going to rabbit on anymore. This is the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you guys in the next one.